Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Before I begin, I just want to remind you that I now have an Etsy page where you can get personal email readings from me. And the link to that Etsy page is in the description box below. So without further ado, let's start. So today we're going to be doing a review, mostly flip through of the Star Spinner Tarot. So this tarot deck is actually really special. Those of you who might not know, because it's inclusive, so it includes various races, shapes and sizes, and also people of different sexual orientations. Like for instance, there's 4 different lovers cards. I believe there is a gay couple, a lesbian couple, a straight couple, and then there's a 4th card. I'm not really sure which one that represents. That might just be another straight couple or maybe transgender. I'm not really sure about that 4th one, but it is very beautiful, like all of these images. And I think that it's really important to have a deck like this. And this deck, I feel like it kind of symbolizes progress, like the times in general. Like a lot of millennials have a very socially aware and socially conscientious mindset, like a very progressive mindset, and I believe that it's a sign of progress. So I really like that this tarot card exists, or tarot card deck exists. So let's start. So beyond that, it definitely has this sort of anime look to, like Sailor Moon vibes I'm kind of getting with the pink. It's slightly iridescent, like the back, which is really, really just nice and pearly pink. So yeah, it comes with this box. So yeah, 81 cards and guidebook, and once again, that's 78 tarot cards, including the 4 lovers cards, which depict different kinds of lovers or different orientations, sexual orientations. And then it comes with this little white book. So the little white book is quite, I would say it's pretty thorough. There's a Celtic crossbred in the front. And you see it gives like an upright and a reverse meaning with for each card, and then it gives like an image of the card. It's definitely a very hefty book. It's definitely not like really small. It's not scanty. Like it has some kind of depth to it, so that's great. So without further ado, let's get straight into the flip through. So I'm gonna move on to the flip through here. Yeah, so let's start. I'm just going to do mostly a flip through, and then I'm going to provide some commentary if I have any for each card. So here we have the Queen of Chalices. Oh, and these aren't in order, by the way, because I've shuffled them already. But here we have the Queen of Chalices. She's like a mermaid holding a ship. I really like that representation with the water. Cups and water definitely have a correlation. Next we have the Knight of Chalices. So yeah, that's a pretty, I would say that's pretty standard looking, except knights are usually on horses. So that's kind of interesting that he's standing upright. And then we have the Six of Wands. I really like it. It's so cute, There's this sort of like millennial pink as well on the back, very trendy. So next we have the 18, not 18, the moon. I was actually counting the Roman numerals. Really interesting. This reminds me of like the full moon or harvest moon or autumn moon, what's it called, festival. Which is usually something that happens in a lot of Asian cultures, is this moon festival during like harvest or autumn season. Very, very, very cute, I must say. It has kind of like this sort of anime, like Sailor Moon vibe. It's just very fresh, very cute. Then we have the Nine of Swords. This is so representative of the meaning, which is paranoia, anxiety. I like this imagery. It's expressive, without being, too intimidating, which is always nice. Next we have the lovers. So we have the apples on top. So this is one of the representations of the lovers, and it's a I guess a lesbian couple. There's two women, and there's these apples on top, kind of like Eve, I guess, when it comes to Adam and Eve, like that kind of vibe. There's some roses in the back. Very pretty, I gotta say. Next we have the Six of Swords. Yeah, same imagery that you usually get in the Rider-Waite with the boat, and then people seeking refuge. That's very pretty classic. And then we've got the Queen of Coins. Very, very cute. It reminds me of like Princess and the Frog, but she has a little rabbit, yellow dress. I don't know, this just makes me smile. It's just like sunshine, like warmth. You know, it's cheerful. Next we have the Four of Chalices. We have a mermaid here. This is so cute. It's just very like anime, like Sailor Moon. It really just kind of reminds me of my childhood. It just makes me smile. And then we have the Queen of Swords. Ooh, this is really interesting imagery. I think she's eating the rose. Huh, interesting. I like the fresh take on Queen of Swords, you know. It's like she has more depth here. Usually it's kind of like that sort of Ice Queen look, but here there's more depth, and I really like that. Like there's more to her story. Next we have the Seven of Chalices. Very beautiful, I must say. It's almost like the fishes. They're like birds, aren't they? Kind of like birds, but she's a mermaid, so they're like birds but underwater, almost like underwater version of birds. Next we have the Two of Coins. So once again, I think this is a representation of like different sizes and shapes. This is actually a really much more realistic depiction of a woman's body, you know, in adulthood. I mean, let's just be real. There's not a lot of women out there who, by adulthood, you're gonna have some curves. And I like how this just depicts, you know, more of this, like more. It's more real, but it's also aesthetically very pleasing here, and it goes really well. With the meaning, like when you think abundance, prosperity, I think that this like full-figured woman or woman with some curves actually fits that better, in my opinion. Next we have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, in this case it's a bird instead of a person, being stabbed by a bunch of swords, which is usually Ten of Swords, and there's no blood. Sometimes there is blood. Yeah, it's kind of aesthetically pleasing in a way. Next we have the King of Chalices. It's like a Chinese dragon or some kind of like Oriental style dragon. Next we have the is this the Ace of Chalices? Yeah, I think this is the Ace of Chalices here. Very pretty. I like the lotus flowers. The Ace of Wands. Very cute. Very like fairy tale, sort of like pixie imagery. I love that. It's very cute. It's very fun. It's very fresh. Next we have the Page of Wands. Or Page of Swords, excuse me. So I'm noticing, yeah, they are color-coded by suit. Or by category. So swords is all like this sort of like slate blue. Wands is yellow. And then I think cups is pink. But that makes it kind of handy. You know, color coding. We have Three of Swords. Yeah, swords has sort of like this airy, like cool tone colors, I'm noticing. And then we have Wands, which are these sort of like sunny, bright, sort of yellowy tones. 3 of Wands. Very cute little fairy. We have the we have the Emperor. Kind of reminds me of, I don't know if this is like, I don't know, some kind of like old civilization, like maybe Roman or maybe Egyptian, like Egyptian or Persian. I don't know, one of those, you know, old civilizations. That's the vibe that I'm getting here. Very aesthetically pleasing. I think that's Horus, maybe, the eagle, or the hawk. Next we have the Magician. Yeah, very like fantasy. It almost reminds me of like a troll or like a gnome. But I'm getting like troll from The Hobbit. I like that. Next we have, excuse me, not a troll, but was it? No, it wasn't elves, but you know what I mean, like those people who had beards. Pretty sure, I think they were trolls. I don't remember. Don't quote me on it. Next we have, so I think this is a stand-in for La Forza, or strength. The lion, in this case, she's not holding the lion's mouth open. You know, it's almost like it's much more peaceful, much more cooperative, you know. I kind of like that. Like she's leading through, I think, more like a bond with the lion instead of, you know, having to like literally like pry its mouth open, which is kind of the traditional depiction. Next we have the 9 of Wands. Bright yellow, very warm sun. This really does remind me of the sun, like the warmth from the sun rays. 5 of Wands. We've got the 4 of Wands, very cute. We have, so yeah, this is another LGBTQ friendly card. I believe they're a gay couple. So we have this version of the lovers, like the previous version of the lovers, which was, I believe, a lesbian couple. And then we have the star. Ooh, beautiful Aquarian energy here. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of like the depiction of a star spinner. You know, there's literally like stars kind of like spinning around her actually. It's very pretty. We have the 4 of Swords. Very Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. And next we have the 8 of Wands. This is like the cutest 8 of Wands I've ever seen. Love that yellow. It just reminds me of like anime or something. It's just so cute. Next we have the 6 of Coins. So generosity. I like the little strawberries or little berries. Next we have the Tower. Very classic, sort of classic depiction of the Tower. It's usually though right in the center, but in this case it's sort of like towards the right. I find that kind of interesting, and it gives it more like the perspective of it having been like a past event or something that will pass, which I really like, you know. Okay, so next we've got Judgment. We've got the Angel. Let me just straighten this out, and then we've got the Chariot. Oh, this is so cute! Instead of the horses, we have the 2 cats, and it really does remind me of Luna and Artemis from Sailor Moon. So cute! Look at his beautiful hair just like whipping around in the wind. Next we have the 10 of Chalices. Very beautiful imagery we have here. This is such a cheerful, like, cute, you know, like pink, like Sailor Moony duck. I like it. Next we have Justice. Get that sort of Libra energy, Miss Justice. Next we've got the Wheel of Fate. So this is a stand-in for Wheel of Fortune or La Fortuna, and some Gemini energy just looking at the card, or twins inside of a womb, and maybe it even symbolizes luck, like fortune and misfortune. I don't know, kind of like in a wheel, probability. I like it. Next we have the Five of Chalices. This really is a cool representation, like, you know, you've escaped a previous situation, you know, that might have been a disappointment or a loss, but you have trouble looking at the horizon, what's up ahead, because you're kind of focused on the past. And I think this is very expressive here, but in a different way than you would normally get from other Five of Cups or Five of Chalices cards. The Fool. It's interesting that yeah, he's in a different pose. Usually, you know, he's going off into the sunset somewhere, like on an adventure. You know, there's a cliff. In this case, it's almost like he's sort of comforting himself, like almost like an upright fetal position or something. Maybe he's grappling with the choices that he's about to make or made. Trying to think of, you know, what am I going to do next, and make a really, you know, come out on the other side with a really spontaneous choice. You know, I love that these are so open for interpretation, just tarot cards in general. And we have the Three of Chalices, very, you know, indicative of the meaning. Next we have the Two of Chalices. Quite similar, yeah. But once again, yeah, usually it's a man and a woman, but this is, you know, some same-sex imagery here. Getting, you know, I know that not all of them mean Gemini, but for some reason, yeah, with all the, like, same-sex couples, I keep thinking Gemini because they're so symmetrical to each other. And then the duality of it. But it's very pleasing to the eyes, you know. Symmetry is always a plus in any sort of art or imagery or even nature, you know. Apparently we as humans, we prefer looking at symmetry. It's pleasing to look at, and it's, you know, it's found in nature. Okay, I went off on a tangent, but here's another Lover's card. So this is a straight couple, you know, like kind of like what you would normally see in a typical tarot deck. And then we've got the Hierophant. He's holding a set of keys. That's interesting. His sort of headgear that he has on kind of reminds me of like almost like the three the wise men in the Bible. Like that kind of reminds me of the same sort of look, or maybe it's medieval. You know, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, but it's really interesting. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's the Four of Coins. Yeah, this is definitely like a really fresh take, but look at the color contrast. And so like exotic looking, you know, like the emerald dress, and like I love that like that piece that she's wearing in her hair, kind of like a Rapunzel. But yeah, I can definitely see how that correlates with Four of Coins for sure. I really like this card, actually. I just love how different it is and how beautiful it is, like the contrast of the colors, and I think that's like one of my favorites, actually. It's really pretty. Next we have the Empress. This looks so happy, and she's holding the wheat, which is pretty traditional. Very prosperous energy. It's almost like the wheat, it's like the sun, you know. like kind of radiating out of the wheat. I like that. So the Ace of Swords, look how cute. It's just like this little anime sword. It's just so cute. Ooh, I love these iridescent backs once again. This is so stinking cute. 10 of Wands. Yeah, burden. You can kind of see that. She looks kind of sad. Like, oh god, I have all these plants that I've planted. I have to take care of them. Like these little star plants. This is so cute. I mean, come on. Like, this imagery is adorable. Like, she's sitting on a little, like a toadstool. Okay, next we have the Two of Wands. Yeah, so like options, choices. She's holding two wands. Very cute. And then we have the Devil. Oh my gosh, look how fabulous this devil looks. And then you can see some like, what is this, like some kind of BDSM thing going on in the back, which is usually featured in most traditional devil cards as well. This is creative. I mean, they're like hanging from chains, but look how fabulous he looks. He's just like, you know, strutting basically. I mean, an interesting take on the devil. I mean, sometimes it can be really intimidating looking and then also misleading because the devil doesn't actually mean the devil. In the tarot, you know, it has a completely different meaning, figurative meaning. So I kind of like that. And then we have Temperance. Usually a woman. This time it's a man. Very beautiful man. But then we have the traditional, you know, pouring the water from one cup to the other. And then we have the Hanged Man. I really like this. I like the black contrasting with the image of the gold. And then we have the apples. I really love the apples, actually. It's very fairy tale, like an old fairy tale book. And then we have another version of the Lover. So this was the one that I was kind of confused about. Because I know there's already a straight couple. I think this was just another straight couple. Or maybe like more like ambiguous looking. Or maybe, who knows, it could be like a bisexual couple. I'm not really sure. But it's definitely a bit more ambiguous, I think. But I love how the apples are blue. I wonder if that has any kind of special meaning to it. But yeah, it's really interesting. I like that. I like their variety with the Lovers. You know, a fun idea also might be to give them different meanings, like of your own choice, because since there are 4 Lovers cards, it might actually be interesting to kind of give them different meanings. You know, not necessarily like sexual orientation, but you could like change it up. Like, this means, you know, a certain type of lover situation versus the other 3. Yeah, so this is the 8 of Chalices, the 8 of Cups. It's very, almost reminds me of like the Little Mermaid. When the witch, you know, gives her this choice, she's thinking about what choice to make or something. Or maybe after she becomes human from being a mermaid. I don't know. It's just, I'm getting a lot of imagery. It's giving me some Disney vibes, anime vibes, Sailor Moon vibes. Or like, even like old, kind of like oriental painting imagery too. Like, I don't know. I like it. It's aesthetically pleasing. So now we have the 9 of Coins. Ooh, I really like this. I wonder what imagery this is. Like, what culture is this from? Because it looks very familiar and yet exotic. Like, I know it takes from some culture. I've seen this in some like ethnic art, but like the owl sort of, is this Egyptian? I'm not really sure. Like Horus maybe. Or is Horus an eagle? Okay, don't quote me on any of this, but I have seen this somewhere. I actually really like it. With the coins. And like the robe too. really cool. Oh, this is cute. So we have the page of coins. I like her dress. It reminds me of like the flappers, like the 1920s, like the fringes. Next we have the 10 of coins. Look how happy. This yellow dog, looks like a golden retriever or something. Cute. Very, very cute. Next we have the High Priestess. Definitely a different take on the High Priestess, because usually you get like this really traditional looking lady on a throne, but in this case she's standing up. There's some pillars, the symmetry between the sun and the moon at the very top. I like her head, not her headgear. It's like this sort of like jewelry, like hair jewelry that she's wearing. It has sort of that High Priestess sort of imagery in the middle with the moon and then the two crescent moons on the sides. Very nature-y, I really like that. I like this sort of fresh take on the High Priestess. It's a little bit less austere looking, I gotta say. So we've got, this is backwards, whoops. So we have the 3 of coins. Ooh, a genie lamp. Gotta love genie lamps. I'm a fan of just any kind of genie lamp imagery in general. It's just really cool looking. Next we have the sun. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is like Oriental art sort of imagery, and almost looks like a Chinese or some kind of like Far East Asian fairy. Very beautiful. I like it. I think the moon was also kind of similar imagery as well, but with that one it looked more like autumn moon festival kind of vibe, or lunar moon festival. Next we have the Knight of Swords. Ooh, female knight. I love that. I love those wings in her hair. I know this represents something. I don't remember exactly where it's from, but I've seen the wings in the hair. Like, is this Roman, I think? But I really like that. I like the little cultural takeaways, little like snippets here and there. Next we have the 9 of Chalices. This is actually one of my favorite cards. I mean, it's just really visually beautiful. You get Swan Lake imagery. She's also kind of like the black swan. Like, there's a little more depth to her. We have the moon. It's very like Odette from Swan Lake. Yeah, I really like this. This is probably my favorite card out of the entire deck, or one of my favorites. Next we have the 7 of Coins. So yeah, payoff, return on investments. Look at all those geese. You think of like the golden eggs. That's kind of what it reminds me of, like, almost like Bitcoin, or I don't know, or just like investing in stocks, and then you're like, oh, look at all these golden eggs and all these geese that I now have, or just, okay, I went off on another tangent, but I'm gonna move on to the next card. Next we have the King of Swords. Oh, in this case, it's not even a human, it's a crow or a bird. That's very like fairy tale like. I love it. Yeah, who says the king of any suit has to be even human? Like, it could be a completely different, aviary. That can be, avian species. Next, we have the 5 of Swords. This is probably the scariest card in the tarot, at least for me personally. The meaning of it, I mean. And some deep imagery there. I like it. We have the Page of Wands. Very, very cute. Pixie. Like Tinkerbell's cousin sort of look. Next we have the 7 of Wands. So, yeah, Seven of Wands imagery. Okay, I'm just gonna stretch my wrist. Okay, let's move on to the next card. We have the Knight of Coins. He's holding a little coin there. His eyebrows are nice. He's got nice eyebrows, you could tell. Ooh, we have the King of Wands. So another king that's a crow. It's like the king of the crows. And he has like a giant, it's almost like he's been transformed into a crow. Or maybe he can like shapeshift or something really cool like that. And then we have these flowers in the back, red flowers. It's very, I think maybe the red flowers symbolize like passion or something. King of Wands is very passionate, fiery energy. Next we have the World. See, this is what I'm talking about. The World, or Il Mondo, I think that she needs to be full figured. Because when you think of the World, you don't think of like, like a tiny woman. I mean, the world is big, it's vast. It has a lot of abundance, a lot of stuff, beauty out there. It's big. So I think of like someone more full figured, more like curvy. And I like how, there's these faces around. It's just really pleasing to look at, Feast for the Eyes, really very cute imagery. Next we have the Knight of Wands. Ooh, very golden bird. Next we have the Eight of Coins, so progress, hard work. I like that he's dressed in business casual or business or professional attire, because this card definitely means putting in the work. A lot of progress when it comes to that, and time. So symbolizing like hours worked every day. Those corporate office workers out there, this card probably resonates with you. Next we have the Six of Chalices. So Six of Cups. It's almost like either she's imagining somebody from her past or he's imagining somebody from his past. It almost reminds me of like time travel, like they're lovers but in different times, and then they like met in like an alternate dimension or something like that, or one of them is a time traveler or something like that. I like it. It's very romantic looking, I gotta say. I love interpreting them too. The Ace of Coins. This is a really cute Ace of Coins card. I mean, love the colors. And it definitely just shouts Ace of Coins. I mean, you don't really even have to read the card to know what it means there. Next, we have the Two of Swords. Yeah, it shouts Two of Swords. The meaning of the card kind of just lends itself to you, to the eyes. Next, we have Page of Chalices or Page of Cups. This is interesting. There's like a chimney, there's a doggy, there's a mermaid, very Little Mermaid vibe here. I like how the chalices, they all kind of have mermaid imagery because of the water element. Now we have Eight of Swords, kind of classic, the ribbon over the eyes. Pretty classic imagery we've got going on there. Next we have Death. I actually really like this Death card because of the black and the stars and like the silhouette, the color contrast. And we have the flowers that are upside down, symbolizing death as well. And then it's almost like death, and then we have life, like this baby. There's a lot of contrast. There's this upright flower here symbolizing life. It's almost like, I like the duality in this card deck, like a lot of symmetry and dualities. Next we have the Hermit. He looks like a Buddhist or like a Tibetan monk. That actually goes really well with the Hermit imagery. I mean, despite it being different from the original Rider-Waite, it goes so well with the Hermit, the Hermit vibes. Next we have the Five of Coins. So yeah, it's very indicative of the meaning here. Moving on from some loss, financial loss, the cracked mirror. But then, I kind of see like, yeah, just leaving the past behind and moving forward, And then we have, oh, so cute. Okay, so we have the Knight of Coins. I'm getting like Alice in Wonderland vibes here with the rabbit. And then last but not least card, we've got the Queen of Wands. This also kind of reminds me of La Forza or Strength. But in this case, yeah, it's the Queen of Wands, and it's definitely a different imagery. Like she's holding a wand, and the sunflowers is very Queen of Wands imagery, sunflowers. And then there's the lion here, also sort of symbolizing like a fire sign energy. But yeah, that's the last card of the deck. So yeah, that about wraps up our Star Spinner Tarot flip through and a bit of a review as well. Yeah, so comment, subscribe, share if this resonated with you. And I just want to remind you again that now you can get personal email readings from me through an Etsy page. And the link to that Etsy page is in the description box below. So yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.